Welcome back to America's Now. Every year, Cuba hosts one of the largest outdoor urban festivals of modern dance. Dozens of international and local companies turn the streets of colonial Old Havana into a mix of color, music, and movement. The festival, which began almost 20 years ago, is the brainchild of a Chilean-born choreographer who manages a dance studio in Havana. Her name is Isabel Bustos. And as our correspondent Michael Voss shows us, when you work with Isabel, the whole city becomes a stage.
The festival is called City in Motion. For 1 week every year, historic Old Havana bursts into life as crowds pack the streets, parks and squares, all of them transformed into makeshift stages.
The festival is now in its 19th year. When it began, it was just a handful of local dancers going from street corner to street corner. This year, there are 1,300 performers from all over the world.
It's a mix of amateur and professional dance companies who enjoy the challenge of performing so close to the public. Others are street performers who earn a living busking back home.
There are high-quality works and lower-quality ones. The fact that everyone has the opportunity to have a space here and be recognized or acknowledged is crucial for me. It's part of the Cuban culture policy.
The festival was founded by director, choreographer and painter Isabel Bustos, whose dance company Rita Sauce is based at the Carolinas Theatre in Old Havana. Isabel Bustos created the company back in 1987, but it almost folded in the early 1990s following the collapse of Cuba's main financial backer, the Soviet Union. The country suffered severe economic hardship in what was known as the Special Period. The original idea for dancing in the street was a matter of survival.
At that moment, we were undergoing the special period in Cuba, and this is translated into long electric power cuts, a very difficult economic situation, and the theaters were closed. So we had to make a decision on whether we continued to do something or we disappeared.
Initially, though, it wasn't that well received. It was an idea ahead of its time.
The first year was difficult because people wouldn't understand what I was trying to do.
But after a few years of perseverance, the idea caught on and others wanted to join in. From then on, the festival developed a life of its own.
Very few people here would think about paying to go see a dance show in a theatre. So this festival is about bringing the theatre onto the streets. When was the last time you went to the theatre? ¿Cuándo fue la última vez que se fue a un teatro?
I've never been to a theater. I started a family when I was very young. Now I'm seeing this, and it's spectacular.
It's a unique opportunity. We Cubans interact with people from other countries who come here to present their art in the streets.
Personally, I think it's very important to support the residents in the historic center so they don't have to go to a theater to see an artistic performance.
Among this year's participants was the experimental Chilean company Danza en Cruz. This festival is partly about bringing dance closer to the people, but for the performers, dancing in the streets, almost touching the audience, presents its own set of challenges, as the Chilean dancer Sebastián Ruiz discovered.
It is completely different, not in the essence, but the format is different. People wonder, I think it makes people get closer. It's a challenge for us as performers. We're not in a comfortable place, as I don't mean necessarily physical, but you know, like it's a challenge, 100%.
It's also an opportunity for young Cuban dancers and small regional companies to come to Havana, show their works, learn and interact with dancers from other countries. This youth theatre is from the central province of Camagüey. Their performance, a variation of the classic ballet Swan Lake, with dancers wearing a boot on one foot. The principal dancer is Diana Valdez.
It's like breaking with everything, because rules say you have to wear 2 ballet shoes, but we want to break that, so we wear only 1 boot.
The festival also offers a series of free master classes in a variety of dance techniques. The most heavily subscribed are the ones by Isabel Bustos. She's Chilean by birth. Her father was a diplomat from Ecuador who was posted to Cuba in the early years of the revolution. Her mother fell in love with the country, and so she grew up here.
You studied dance in Cuba and choreography at the Sorbonne in Paris, and yet you tell your dancers that they have to unlearn everything they learnt in the academies.
Realmente yo creo que cada artista nace con su pan debajo del brazo.
I think all artists are born with a bread under their arm, but the question is, how did it get there? Artists have moments to learn and look for the tools that can help support them to develop their own creativity.
Not everyone at the company came through the traditional route of Cuba's dance and ballet schools. Thais Pedroso studied theatre and became an actress before joining Isabel Bustos at Rita Sauce.
What fascinates me about Rita Sauce is its everyday-based nature and spontaneity, because the artistic movements here are very close to everyday and spontaneous life, you see? And it's also quite linked to the codes of theater, which is related to my formation, and it's also what I like the most about Isabel and the style of the company.
5, 6, 7, 8
The company also spends a lot of time working with young people.
Children and the young people are the future of this country, and working with them is very important because as they become more sensitive to their environment, they will become better citizens.
For the festival, Rita Sauce gave an evening performance in the main square of colonial Old Havana, the Plaza de Armas. It was a work choreographed especially for City in Motion. The aim of the week-long event is to bring dance closer to the people and people closer to dance. And judging by reactions from some of the younger audience, the future of contemporary dance in Cuba looks strong.
Michael Voss, thanks for that report. The festival is affiliated with the Barcelona-based Dancing Cities Network. It's an international network of contemporary dance festivals aimed at promoting urban areas and the equalization of culture.
coming up.
The winners of a prize that promotes excellence in education in the Americas.
So we wanted to recognize extraordinary people who do the work every day with young children to help them have the skills they need to succeed later in life.
America's Next.